Bust up all the fun laughter and talking.
Get control.
Apparently I'm not doing a very good job of busting it up.
Control, President.
Yeah, I know, seriously. I don't know how teachers feel.
I was gonna say that.
Thank you for being here. Welcome everyone to the January 14th, 2025 Springdale School Board meeting. To start our meeting off, I'd like to call Rebecca Lamb to the podium. She's our senior representative from HAR-BER High School to lead us in the pledge. If you'd stand with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, well, welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm
Thank
honored.
you for being here. So instead of me reading through this impressive sheet here, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from and where you're going?
My name's Rebecca Lamb. I'm a senior at HAR-BER High School. I'm currently the student council president, and I aspire to go to University of Central Arkansas and major in communications and broadcast journalism.
What schools did you go to?
I started at J.B. Hunt in Springdale. I ended up going through Hellstern, Central, and now I'm at HAR-BER.
What extracurricular activities are you involved in?
I'm involved with Student Council, National Honor Society, and I'm in my television classes at school.
Awesome. You guys have any questions for Rebecca?
I know you said you wanted to go to UCA and what you wanted to major in. Do you have, I know it could change 5 or 6 times, but right now, if you had a dream job, what would it be?
I just want to do anything in broadcast news. I've always really wanted to do that, so anything in that realm. I just want to get my hands in that.
Anybody else?
What has been your favorite, if you had a highlight, or like a highlight reel for your time in Springdale, what are some of the things that would be on it?
I loved my time at Central Junior High. I just felt really connected. I had incredible teachers, a wonderful principal, and assistant principals, and it was incredible there. I started student council there, and it was incredible.
Tell us about the Seniors for Seniors. That's pretty cool.
So in student council, I wanted to get more volunteer hours for members, and so I thought, well, seniors kind of struggle with getting volunteer hours for college, so something that was important to me was the senior living facility that's right next to HAR-BER. So we ended up making Christmas cards, and I called it Seniors for Seniors because I thought that was kind of, I just thought it was great, and so I hope to kind of plug in and do more things with that, yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. Anybody else?
HAR-BER's known for really producing some pretty good reporters.
Yeah.
Think about Nick Luttrell, Miss Brothers, and
Yeah.
New Orleans. Some amazing folks.
I can see you right now on TV.
Thank you.
Mom or dad here?
Yes, my mom's here.
Mom, you want to
My mom, Jessica.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so
You did
much.
a great job.
Thank you. It's an honor. Nice to meet you.
All right. That brings us to item B, our agenda for tonight. Dr. Cleveland, any changes?
Yes, sir. If you could, we have a pretty nice announcement today. We've added a new staff member, and so we'd like to introduce he and his family to you this evening. If it would be okay, could we add an agenda item, maybe move our Atlas test data portion to to G, and insert introduction of our new HAR-BER football coach as F?
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the one change.
Second. I have a motion by Mr. Hutchinson and a second by Mr. Ramos to approve tonight's agenda with the change of adding item G. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Brings us to item C, our consent agenda. Have any questions about the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ramos and a second by Mrs. Cook to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Brings us to item D, presentation by Dr. Cleveland.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. We just got back from the December ASBA Winter Conference, as you know, and there at the Winter Conference, for those of you out in the crowd for the school board conference, our school board was awarded the Master Board Award for having all met the requirements for meeting their hours. In fact, that we have a training hour report in here as well, but each of our board members have met at least 50 hours. Not many school boards have met those training requirements. I know the previous year, you got the Master Board Award, which meant that you were the best school board in the state for the large districts, and so we're proud of them for that. But they get this about, I don't know, every other year, so they have more training than just about anybody else, but we're really fortunate to have such a stable and strong board, and I know I personally am grateful for them. Each of the administrators that are out there are as well, and you'll see by the appreciation gifts that were up here, everyone appreciates these folks. So we're very fortunate to have them, and it is Arkansas School Board Member Recognition Month, and you know, having the Master Board Award and having the Arkansas School Board Member Recognition Month, we want to make sure that we do both of those things and recognize them in a great way. Tonight, there's a special little silver shiny thing on their desk, right? And so we have Mr. Trent Jones, and I think Rodney's out there as well. We're going to talk about that. So I'm putting kind of A and B together a little bit to show you that there's a reason why we appreciate them and a reason why they're really, really good. So, Mr. Jones, if you'd like to talk a little bit about what's ahead of us here.
Thank you, Dr. Cleveland, Leanne, School Board. This is always one of my favorite times of the year because we get to take a moment to say thank you to you. And I've had the great privilege over the last several years to stand up here on behalf of our faculty, staff, our students who work hard to say thank you. And as you know, you have put in tremendous vision and support into our workforce programs. Rodney Ellis is hands down the best in the state, there's no doubt about it, of implementing that vision. And what you see in front of you is a really cool chess piece. So they're kings and queens, just like you guys are to us. We appreciate you in that capacity. Not literally, figuratively, because we love you. Yes, that's right. I clearly am a pawn. No, I'm kidding. But Wes Higginson and Blake Nielsen of the Industrial Maintenance Program at Don Tyson and the students at Don Tyson in their program use the Haas milling and lathing equipment to machine aluminum stock down to chess pieces. That's what you see there. The students applied, learned G&M code, which I went into Rodney's office and I was like, am I saying that right? And of course he's like, yeah, that's it. And he clearly articulated to me what that was. An automated Haas milling and lathing machines are used in industry to make components for aerospace, for automotive, medical, electronics. And once our students or the users master this G&M code, you can make nearly anything with the capabilities of this machine. So there's a lot of layers to this. You're getting to see the ability of the students. You're getting to see the skills that we're training them to go out into the workforce. But also, I really want you to think about what Dr. Cleveland and I and the team talk about a lot, that a lot of what we do is like a chessboard. And it takes strategic thinking and it takes strategic movement. And that was really what Rodney brought to the table. He said, how about we make a chess piece? And so you are that to us. You are our leaders. We are grateful for you. And I am grateful to have the opportunity to stand here and brag on Rodney and Wes and Blake and Dr. Cleveland and the entire school district. So thank you very much. We appreciate you.
resolution, I started the legislative session today. Our state board also has a resolution with Dr. Sarah Moore, who's the chair, who provided that. I know it's in your packet, signed by by Jacob Oliva, our secretary. If you to read that, I would, but at the end of the day, what it says in summary is that you serve at the will of the people, and you do it through a cost. And the cost is, you don't get paid for this. The cost is that you suffer quite a bit, quite frankly. Oftentimes, in the past, you've suffered deeply, but you do it because you care about kids. You care about the community, and you care about how your community goes. And quite frankly, I believe that the public school is the heartbeat of every community, especially in this state. And for that to be the case, the board leads that. So thank you for that. Thank you for being willing to lead, because being out in front, oftentimes you get the rocks thrown at you first. So thanks for that. Appreciate all you do. So without any further, unless there's anything else.
No, let's move on.
Okay. Don't read it. Okay.
Enough praise
I know
for
you
today.
don't like that. I know you don't like that. You don't like being bragged upon, so I won't do
The
it.
next one's gonna be way more fun.
Yes.
It is.
Brag on someone else.
And I'll read it. I'll read it because she deserves it. All right, so we'll go on to C, because I put those other two together. So I want to recognize Ms. Stephanie Hensey. I'd also like to recognize Dr. Todd Lofton. So if you two would come to the front. Ms. Hensey is the assistant principal at Central Junior High. And unfortunately, come on, Dr. Lofton. You're not going to speak for a little bit. I'm going to read a couple things, if that's okay. But poor Miss Hensey, she's been recognized as the assistant principal of the year in Arkansas. And a comedy of errors happened to this young thing. First of all, we scheduled a really awesome opportunity for her to be surprised at Central Junior High. And then out of the blue, she gets an email from the national organization that says, "Congratulations, you're the Arkansas Principal of the Year."
Surprise.
Yeah, and so she goes into Dr. Lofton, he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And of course, he knew. And the AAEA director, Dr. Mike Hernandez, calls and says, "Hey, got some really bad news." They emailed Stephanie and the gig's up. So I'm like, okay. And there, so later, here we have this massive snow that we haven't had in a while. So we had scheduled for Friday a really awesome opportunity to try to surprise her again, even though the gig was up. She had the email. Dr. Lofton obviously is a very poor liar. So she knew that he obviously knew. And so thankfully, he scheduled and set up a really nice Zoom with Dr. Hernandez and got a hold of Dr. Hensey and the family, and they came in. And she can share all of that, but I did go to the superintendent symposium, and Dr. Hernandez gave me the plaque, so she hasn't seen it. But I would like, it's a surprise, so this is something she hasn't seen, and she'll get time. But if it's okay with you, I'd like to read what Dr. Hernandez prepared, and he may have shared it on Zoom. But for the good of the group, I'd like to share it. And this is the press release. Forgive me, because I'm kind of having a little issue tonight. The press release reads as follows. Ms. Stephanie Hensey, Assistant Principal at Central Junior High in Springdale, Arkansas, was recently named the Arkansas Association of Secondary School Principals, or AASSP, Assistant Principal of the Year. This award is sponsored by Curriculum Associates. Dr. Mike Hernandez, AAEA Executive Director, presented Ms. Hensey with the award at her school on January 10th, 2025, by Zoom. This award is given each year to an Arkansas secondary level assistant principal who has succeeded in providing high-quality learning opportunities for students and has been recognized as exhibiting exceptional leadership skills in the school community. Ms. Hensey has served as assistant principal at Central Junior High School for 4 years. During this time, she worked to ensure student-centered strategies are implemented daily while actively engaging with faculty to foster an environment of continuous improvement. She is committed to improving instruction, building the capacity of teachers, bringing together collective expertise, and providing new and innovative ways to address the needs of students. Ms. Hensey is dedicated to the education of Arkansas students and very deserving of this award. as evidenced by the following comments. Excuse me. Marco Rubio here. That was funny, wasn't there? Stephanie is very consistent in bringing the portion of our mission statement. Provide rich learning experiences to the forefront of guiding coalition planning and ongoing work by helping to foster leadership skills in both the adults and the students at Central. She is empowering all of us to be our best. You will often hear her emphasize that she is there to make sure you are successful and productive, doing something you feel passionate about in 5, 10, and 15 years. And then she also asks, how can she help achieve those goals? Colleen Sheridan, Instructional Facilitator, Central Junior High. And then I'll read what Dr. Lofton said. Ms. Hensey lives out Central's mission by prioritizing safety, relationships, and learning, ensuring the well-being of both students and teachers. She focuses on student success and teacher fulfillment by considering the social, emotional, and academic needs of every individual, using these needs to guide her decisions for the good of the entire school community. Her strong relationships with students, parents, and teachers open opportunities for holistic, inclusive decision-making. Dr. Lofton. There's one more, but I'm not going to be able to read it. I'm about done here. But I want to congratulate Ms. Stephanie Hensey. But first, Dr. Lofton, would you introduce Ms. Hensey?
So, one, it's an honor to be able to work with her every day. You guys know in your roles, in your jobs, that people make the difference. And she's one of those that makes a big difference at Central. And so we're thankful to have her and blessed to work with her. Ms. Stephanie Hensey.
Got a picture back there.
In the words of Nick Emerson, can we just move on? I do have a couple of things because I don't feel like this is my award, obviously. Ooh, my husband told me not to cry, and I didn't think it was going to be a problem. But I'm deeply honored and humbled to receive this award and to be nominated, first of all, and then to receive the award. When I think about this award, 2 words come to mind, and it's collaboration and belief. And I could not do my job every day without people who collaborate and work alongside of me and people who believe in me. And when I think about those people, it's obviously the school board, Dr. Cleveland, his staff, his leadership team, because they literally pick up the phone and email back every single time, and they are the epitome of collaboration and belief and support and encouragement. I think about every single assistant principal and principal in this district. We've got many group threads, and I could not be the person that I am today without them supporting, believing, collaborating. I think about Michelle Hutton and the Elmdale Eagles, where I started my administrative career, and Dr. Lofton and the instructional leadership team, and the parents and the students, the staff, the teachers at Central who push me every day, and then I have to go back to my family. Sorry. They're the ones that have to sacrifice every day so that I can give 110% to everybody that I serve in the community and parents, students, and the board. While I may have been nominated and received the award, it's truly a reflection of the people in this district who believe in each other and believed in me and support and collaborate every day. You all in this district make me want to do better and be better every day. So thank you. I'm
She's a great human. A great human with a great family. So we're proud of you, Ms. Hensey. So,
You should introduce your family.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry I didn't give you a chance to
She was done.
she dropped the mic and walked off.
My husband, Simeon, By the way, we just celebrated 22 years of marriage on Friday the 10th. My Seth Hinsey is my 7th grader at Hellstern, and Sammy Hinsey is my 11th grader at HAR-BER High School. So, yes, sorry.
Almost forgot.
Both pretty good ball players.
Yes, I think so, but I'm biased.
And of course, you and Simeon met playing ball, right?
We did at John Brown University. We were both playing basketball on scholarship. Yeah, long time. That was actually 26 years ago. So yes.
I've seen those pictures.
Yeah, sorry. Did you have any questions? Comments? Do you have? I was just ready.
I don't have, do y'all
You're
have
good.
any?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
I don't know if you can tell, Miss Hinsey has a lot of energy. Okay, Ms. Finch.
Good evening, Dr. Cleveland and board. I'm actually here tonight to celebrate a really special partnership. As you know, partnerships is one of the 4 main pillars of our school district, and Champions for Kids has been an amazing partner with us. Champions for Kids was founded in 2004, and Adelaide Schaefer approached me 4 or 5 years ago about partnering with one of our schools, and that partnership has grown to 6 of our schools in our district. And what they do is they provide academic support by providing incentives to our schools for our students to finish strong. And what I love about this is that there really is a lot of autonomy within our schools for our principals to decide what that's going to look like in their buildings. And so I've actually invited the 6 principals to come join me tonight and kind of tell you just very briefly about how this partnership has enhanced their schools. So principals, if you'll come to the podium.
All right, good evening, board. I'm going to start, like Ms. Fink said, the Champions for Kids program has been amazing, but it does allow us autonomy for our building to make decisions on what our students specifically need and what grade level we really need to focus on within our building, within our upper grades. So within our building, we knew that we really needed to focus on setting some goals for our 4th grade students. And so some of the goals that we set for ours was thinking about the number of books that our 4th grade classes were reading. Some of our other goals that we really needed to think about this year were attendance, not just coming to school, but also being at school on time. Another goal that they focused on was oral reading fluency, how many words they were reading per minute, and then looking at the grade level expectation to see which class could grow in reading the most words, and then how many students each class could get on grade level. And then we also wanted to really push the students on who could be talking to them about who could go above and beyond, who could really push to go the extra mile. And then I think that really helped us to push goal setting, pushing goal setting and not just reaching that goal, but then pushing beyond that. So we were able to really publicly display these goals for the whole school to see. So it allowed the little kids to see, the older kids to see that we were setting these goals, setting these expectations to see where our students were as readers, seeing that the importance of coming to school every day and being on time. And we made announcements of, oh, this class is ahead, or this class everyone was here and on time. And then it made a connection throughout the whole school for literacy and attendance, and you could just kind of feel the excitement every day about the announcements. They were like, oh, Miss Fisher's class is in the lead, or, Miss Lipscomb's class. So it really had an excitement. Now, if they met their goal, you can see the prizes and the boxes that they got if they met their goal, and that was a big day because they also gave away for our Above and Beyond winners hoverboards. So there were some big prizes, and so it was a big deal. And now the 3rd graders are like, do we get to do this next year? So it's been a great program, a great initiative, and a great way for our kids to learn true goal setting.
So at Bayari, we did very similar goals that you just heard from Ms. Jackson. We had a math goal, we had a literacy goal, we had an attendance goal, and we also had behavior goals, and we focused on our 3rd graders. And our day for our goal setting, for them to have reached their goals was in November, the week before Thanksgiving break. And there were some students who had not met their goals for some reason. And whether it was through their attendance or behavior or, just not ready yet. But the great thing was that Champions for Kids left extra boxes, and they helped us announce to our students that they still had an opportunity to work with their teachers to meet their goals. And so those third grade teachers worked with their students and extended them to meet their goals, and whether it was a reset for behavior or attendance or just continuing to grow in academics to reach before we left for winter break. And so I had the privilege of being able to take those additional boxes down to our third graders. But in addition to getting these rewards, the best part for me was when I left and I got a text from my teacher calling me back saying that one of her students wanted to know where his certificate was, because each box on that day came with a certificate with their name on it and signed by the teacher and myself. And that certificate he was looking for that, and that showed that even though there was a lot of extrinsic motivation that we were using, it became intrinsic with wanting that piece of paper that meant something. So that was really exciting.
So you would think, wow, that's amazing. And then comes the Champions for Kids Holiday Festival. And Ms. Clay and I have actually had an opportunity to attend this event the last 2 years. And after we attended last year, we're like, oh my gosh, that's the most amazing thing. It could not get any better. Well, we were wrong. This year we were able to attend again. We were slated to share a table with Fayetteville administration, but they were not able to attend. So I had the whole table of 10. So I asked my son who he wanted to invite in addition to Miss Clay and her kids, and he invited some girls from his class. And so their family attended. And all night long, the family kept asking me, how much do we owe you for these tickets? And I kept saying nothing. And I finally just looked at them and I said, you owe me nothing because not a soul in here paid for a ticket. Like, all of this is free. The amount of stuff that my own child left with that night was absolutely incredible. Every single person in that room left with a big box of toys and food. The toy prizes that they were giving away, I'm talking full lightsaber swords, talking Darth Vader heads. I think my husband was in heaven more than my son was. He was like, this is the best thing ever. So I am going to allow some of my principals to talk about the amazing holiday event that Champions for Kids were able to bless their 6 schools with.
So I don't think there's words you can put into words what this event is like. I look forward to it probably more than my kids. And when you walk into that room, it's just like you're in awe. It's like going to Disney. And I just like to soak it all in. And each year I'm praying that, okay, can we go? Will they invite us again? But it is just truly amazing what Ms. Schaefer and her team put together. And I can't describe how our students feel when they see the toys, when the toys were delivered this year. I mean, they were amazed, but it's just not about receiving a bunch of toys. It's about motivating them to read, motivating them to reach their goals, and that's what, Champions for Kids has done for K-8 students. And it's just amazing. The event is amazing. It's everything Ms. Fink said and more. And I wish every kid could experience it, but it is awesome.
Good evening. Happy School Board Month. So the picture you see with Miss Jackson, all of us had a tree like that, and there was a shopping cart from Sam's full of items. So we got to load those in our cars and take all of that back to school. A lot of it we used for our staff. I know it helped me with my staff Christmas party because I typically have to figure all that out. I don't, really have a PTA. So that really helped me with that piece. And so that was just a car full of stuff. And then on the bottom, you see the picture with the pink tub and those. Again, we participated 2 years ago. It was amazing. Well, this year, a change was the Polar Express came through to our schools in December. and they said they were going to bring us some toys and things to give away. So we didn't really know what to expect, and I mean, I knew it was going to be like a lot, and it was going to be pretty cool, you know, and so they show up, and I was like, whoa, like this is beyond what I even imagined. And so and they brought helpers. So they didn't just bring it all and like, here, you figure out where to put this and how to do it, which is usually what happens. They brought all of these vendor people and business people, and they physically loaded all the things, took it to the room that I had them put it in, and got everything in and got it done fast. I think we had somewhere around 164 toys. And so what we did was, you know, we had kids that got Shop with a Cop. We had kids that got Christmas through our families in transition. We had kids that got some things, and then we kind of had that next group of kids. So we put together a list, and we invited their parents or guardians to come in and choose something for them. And they could either have their child come and pick, or they could take it without their child knowing and wrap it up for Christmas. We had doll houses. We had like a tool set. I mean, just amazing. And two, going back to coming to our schools for the reading incentive, we had our assembly. Mr. Schaefer was there, and we were going to choose one child in every class in all of our 3, 4th grades to get the above and beyond and get the hoverboard. Well, 2 minutes before the assembly started, I'm like asking my librarian, all right, who did you choose for this class? It was between 2 kids. And she was like, I don't know. And I mean, I could not make that decision because they both deserved it. So just off the cuff, I go, we're going to give away 4 hoverboards. I don't have one, right? And so I was like, you know, Miss Crumby will just figure out how, and in my mind, I'm thinking, I hope Mr. Crumby just lets me buy a hoverboard and has no problem with that. I don't know how much these are, but, and so the next day, Mr. Schaefer shows up with another hoverboard. And so I can't say enough about this organization and what they do for us and our kids.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here today to celebrate Champions for Kids in Adelaide. I've been involved with them since years ago at George, and they have just been always such a wonderful program. And like Ms. Crumby just expressed, they have these programs, and there's all these they give us a lot of flexibility to serve the needs of our kids, but if anything new or last minute comes up, they are always just a phone call away. And so just have really appreciated them, the way they love and care for our kids. They care about their academic success, but also for our kids as just an individual. And so this picture you see here that Melissa asked me to share about is one of our just amazing Marshallese kiddos. And this experience, yes, they get lots of things, but like the other principals talked about, it's also about the experience. And this little boy was so excited. And you know, they have the finger food, the chicken nuggets for the kids, but he told his teacher that was there with him, he said, I'm gonna eat like a rich man. And he's trying to cut his chicken nuggets, and you can see he's struggling a little, but they've never been in a place that looked so fancy and exciting. His little sister was there with us, and I don't know how many times she said that she's just looking around in awe. Like to us as adults, you know, principals have shared, it's like Disneyland, right? But to these kids who sometimes, you know, I had a teacher who got Taco Bell, which is right down the road from our school, Parson Hills, and there were 11 kids in the class had never eaten a Taco Bell. Like sometimes we don't realize the depth that our kids are lacking everyday experiences that we take for granted. And Champions for Kids helps us give some of those experiences to these kids. And like some of the other teachers or principals shared, we did something very similar with our gifts, and we set them up in my IF's room, and I wasn't in there. The IFs took care of most of that, and our social worker meeting with the families as they came in, but I had a few that talked to me in the car line about it, and just tears, because you can imagine the economy is so difficult right now. And if you're having to choose between food on the table or Christmas gifts for your children, that's a very hard. And one of the mamas was saying that lots of times they take things from older siblings and rewrap it for younger siblings. And the kids are so sweet when they got some of those things to take home. It's not always about what they're getting for them, but I would say probably at least 80% of the time they're asking, can I get one for my cousin, or can I get one for my sister? Because a lot of our families have extended families, cousins, aunties, uncles that live with them. And that just shows the heart of our kids. And so, again, we just want to thank you for letting us be here to celebrate Adelaide and her organization, because they are a blessing to this whole community.
Hello. Talk about experiences. So one of the things that they changed this year is Ms. Schaefer said that the administrators give. They're so excited to see the kids get stuff, their staff get stuff. They said this year, she said, we want principals to feel that experience of getting something. And so she said that she had an experience for us. And so, if you look up on the board, you'll see the kids got a box. Every kid that came an adult got one of those boxes, and it had snacks, prizes, toys. You just would not believe it, what was in there. It was absolutely amazing. I mean, they packed it to the top. There was no room to put anything else in there. And I happened to be sitting next to the kids that opened their boxes, and I mean, they were so excited about all of it. And see how he's feeling? That's the experience that she wanted us to have. Well, I had no idea. We got a red box, okay? And so when my husband and I got home, he was with me at the event, we were like, let's get that box and see what's in there. And so we opened the box up and we're looking at all this stuff. I mean, there was even a cool little stuffed animal in there. And then I looked at the box and I was like, I wonder what that is. And so I saw this. I was like, oh, it's got to be a sausage, cheese, whatever, And then I opened it up and I was standing there like this. And I said, Dan, it's a holiday Barbie. I never got a holiday Barbie in my whole life. And I said, I'm going to keep this one. And so here's my holiday Barbie. I really did never get one when I was a kid. I'm just like my kids. And I really did get that feeling of, wow, I got a holiday Barbie. And I am keeping it. It's really cool. I mean, I saw people, kids all the time getting these, and I never did get one, and it was so awesome. But the other thing that happened for us is we got an additional box. And it had a 10-pound ribeye in it. This big old, I'm like, what do you do with this? How do you make it? Is it really just a bunch of steaks? And so my husband and I were going over all of this, and then we planned a special Christmas for my family, and we planned it in Missouri at Paradise Point. And I haven't had my family together in years. And I'm gonna tell you right now, my brothers are both cooks. They found out about that. They went off about all this au jus sauce, and there's this some kind of horseradish stuff you can get, and all this and that. But y'all, I want you to know, my whole family came together there, and we all sat at our table together and enjoyed that. And I'm going to tell y'all, it was delicious. We have never tasted anything like it. It was amazing. So just the experience, it made me feel so good. It's all so worth it. It's amazing with all the craziness in this world that we have people in our community that want to give and make our kids happy and our staff, and they included us this year. It was a true blessing, and I can't thank her enough. It was amazing. It really was. Thank you.
I will also say that this year they did give a car away to a teacher. So a teacher walked away, not from Springdale, we won't hold that against her, but I think it was a Bentonville teacher, walked away with a new Subaru car with taxes and titled and tagged car. So at this time, Adelaide, if you'll come join me at the podium. Yes. So every school, the 6 schools, there are 16 schools total in Northwest Arkansas that participate: Rogers, Fayetteville, Bentonville, Springdale. We are blessed to have 6 of those spots. And then the district admin team gets a table too. And so the principals they have a table of 10, and so they help get the kids there. So not every kid from their school get to attend, but they do get to bring families to the event.
So everybody that was invited has a
Yes,
way
the
to-
principals make sure that the families have a way to get there. It's very well attended. She's wanting to expand, and I don't know how she's going to do it because it's so packed. So Adelaide, we want to recognize you as a friend of the Springdale School District, so I'm going to read a little proclamation. It is with great gratitude and pride that we recognize Champions for Kids as a true friend of the Springdale School District. This organization has exemplified what it means to be a visionary partner, one that sees the potential in every student and works tirelessly to ensure that even our most vulnerable children have the opportunity to succeed. Their unwavering commitment to bettering the lives of students in our community has made a profound impact, creating pathways of hope and opportunity where there were once barriers. Champions for Kids has gone above and beyond in supporting our schools, teachers, and administrators. Through their generosity, collaboration, and dedication, they have not only addressed immediate needs, but also laid the groundwork for long-term success. Their belief in the power of education and their support of the educators and leaders in our district truly makes a difference. As we honor the incredible work they've done, we also look forward with excitement and anticipation to what is yet to come. We are confident that this partnership will continue to inspire positive change and enrich the lives of our students, families, and community. On behalf of Dr. Cleveland and the Springdale School Board, we extend our deepest appreciation to Champions for Kids. Thank you for standing beside us in our mission to educate, empower, and uplift every one of our students.
Do you have any questions for Adelaide before she?
I don't know what to ask.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and I'll make it really brief. I have a personal deep passion for Springdale schools. I do share with probably too many people. I think the water's different in Springdale. And I mean that as an incredible compliment. The community of Springdale is unique, and it's powerful, and it's phenomenal. So my love for Springdale is very deep. Champions for Kids has a long-term partnership with Springdale schools. This program called I Finish Strong Reading Champions is core to what we do. We love to come into the schools and push in with rewards and incentives. We don't need to teach education or literacy. Your teachers know that in spades. We don't need to determine the outcomes. They know the outcomes. But if we can rally the supplier community and the Walmart community and the business community, Randy, you're a great partner with us. You make a part of this happen. If we can rally that and come beside our schools with great incentives and rewards, guess what happens? Attendance goes up because the kids see it. Motivation goes up. Reading, learning goals go up. So we love that. We push in with the Polar Express with rewards and incentives before the event. We have the event, and then we have the programs that happen throughout the year. Melissa, you were at the event. You know that we're growing from 16 to 20, maybe more schools this year. So I would like to, you're not going to give up your table, but you do now select 2 more schools to join us for this year. In addition, because we've outgrown the Springdale Convention Center, we're now confirmed for the Rogers Convention Center. All of your educators will now have 2 tables at the event, so that'll be 20 each. And the Polar Express, when we push in 1 week before the event, will only continue to get larger. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, board, at this time, I want to recognize Miss Addie Mankin. She is a 6th grade student from J.O. Kelly Middle School. If I could have Addie come join me at the podium. So each year, Walmart sponsors an essay contest for all of the 6th grade students in Rogers, Fayetteville, Bentonville, and Springdale. And the essay theme this year was Dr. Martin Luther King is known around the world for being a leader and champion of equality and peace during an important time in America's history. What he stood for still applies to today's world, and there is still opportunity for progress. In the spirit of leading with courage, understanding, and acceptance, describe a specific program or initiative you would lead and implement in your school and community to create and promote an equitable environment for all, and why it is important for that we must all act now. And so I'm very proud of Miss Addie Macon. She was our 6th grade winner for Springdale Public Schools. And I just wanted to read to you just the introductory paragraph to her essay, because I thought it was just a really good lead into her argumentative essay. And it says, have you ever had a dream? Martin Luther King had a dream that his 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I learned from him that it doesn't matter what our skin color is or how we dress, because we are all people. He has inspired me to never give up on the things I believe in. He stood up for what was right, and I want to stand up for what's right too. So you can see Addie received a plaque and a trophy. J.L. Kelly Middle School received $500. I believe you also received $50, or will receive $50. Is that correct? Tomorrow. Soon. She'll receive a monetary award. And she will also join the winners from the surrounding districts at the Walmart headquarters for a big celebration ceremony. So congratulations to Addie. Do you have any questions? Addie, you want to say anything about the process that you went through in creating your essay?
About what made you pick your topic?
Just like, it just inspired me how he wanted to stand up for what's right.
We're super proud of you. Do you have a next step? Does your essay go to another competition or anything?
I made a club called Make a Difference, and it's about all kids are invited, and it's going to help by encouraging them to like believe in themselves.
Awesome. We'll keep up the good work.
And Addie's mom is here this evening, so
Thank you for being here.
Congratulations.
congratulations.
Great job. Thank you.
Ms. Fink,
Yeah.
introduce Coach Fimple.
Board, administration, it's a great night. It's with great excitement that we announce Aaron Dannenauer as our new football coach for the Har-BER Wildcats. Coach Dannenauer brings a wealth of experience, passion, and a strong commitment to excellence both on and off the field. Our football program is built on a legacy of hard work, dedication, and community pride. We are confident that Coach Dannenauer will uphold these values while guiding our student athletes to new heights. His leadership and vision for the program align perfectly with our mission to develop great athletes and outstanding individuals. Please join me in giving Coach Dannenauer, his wife Amanda, his sons Kaysen, and I really am glad I don't have to tell, I'm just going to say Asher and Hayes because it's hard for me to tell them apart. A warm welcome as he begins his exciting new chapter with our team and community. Again, I present Aaron Dannenauer.
Well, thank you, guys. I'm not going to talk real long. I'm just really excited to be here. Really excited for this opportunity. You mind if I hold this up a little bit? It's kind of, okay. It's kind of short. But anyways, I'm just really excited for this opportunity. To me, it's an honor and a privilege to be here. That you guys would put your trust, your kids and your community in me. I don't take that honor lightly. And I'm just excited to be here. I know some of you guys probably don't know this, but I actually got my coaching start here back in 2007. And so this community, I know a little bit, and I know how important it is, you know, and you win a state championship in 2009, and just the history of Springdale in general, football, and just the community here. I'm just really blessed to be a part of it, and I'm excited to get started and roll up my sleeves, go to work, and get in with this community and learn all about it and continue to grow. So any questions or anything else you have for me, or I won't talk long. You guys got other work to do.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here for sure.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Hold up front right here. Get up front, we can take a picture real quick, and then we'll get you to work. Anything else for the board? Thank you, gentlemen, ladies.
Thank you guys.
We're excited. Lots to look forward to.
So I think I should take this opportunity to make sure everybody knows that it's a special week for you.
Thanks, Nick. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think we should probably sing happy birthday, but everybody left, so it might be a little awkward, but we do want to
Thank
wish
you.
you happy 50th birthday.
Thank you. Big one. Appreciate it.
Good crowd now.
I am, yeah. So they say. I'll let you know soon. Okay, so I'm going to round my part out tonight by just giving an update on the Atlas testlet data. If you recall back in November, and I'm not going to go over this with you again, I went over my son's K-3 screener with you and talked to you about what constituted him to have to take a screener. And so all of our schools have completed those. And so this is just how many screeners we completed. You can take a look and see. Knapp Elementary was the winner at giving 1,715 screeners for K through 3 in literacy. Most everybody was in about the 3 to 6% range of their kindergarten through 3rd grade students had to take screeners. What we don't know, what data was really difficult to collect. Although my son had to take screeners, he passed his screeners with flying colors, and he didn't flag for an individual reading plan. So of these screeners that we had to give, we don't know which one of the students didn't flag or flagged for an individual reading plan. So as a district as a whole, we gave 14,407 literacy screeners in kindergarten through 3rd grade.
So did some students have to take it more than once?
So some students had to take multiple screeners depending on how many categories they flagged in the report. He flagged at risk in language comprehension and phonemic awareness. And within each of those within each of those categories, there's multiple screeners, and he had to take the screeners until he didn't pass, and then he stopped. But he actually took all of the screeners in those 2 categories and passed every one of them in flying colors, so he didn't require a plan.
So that someone, when they're looking at 1,700 for an elementary K-3, they're like, okay.
That's a lot.
Where's that coming from? And it's not one student, it's a bunch of.
It's a bunch of tests, yeah, a whole bunch of tests. This, I've titled this, We've Testleted, Now What? Because we've given all these testlets, we've gotten all this information, now what do we do with it? So at our last principals meeting, we always start our principals meeting with celebrations, and Ms. Hayter, the principal at Knapp Elementary, and actually several of our other principals celebrated the fact that the teachers, now that the chaos and craziness of the testlet season is over, are really beginning to see the benefit of having all this really rich information. And so I've asked Ms. Hayter to come up and share just very brief comments about what conversations her teachers are having, and then one of her teachers is just going to briefly walk you through how she's using this information to inform student instruction in her classroom. So Ms. Hayter. And I'll let you introduce your teacher.
Good evening. Happy School Board Month. Thank you for having us. We have testleted and testleted and testleted, so we do have a lot of information, and it would be, it's not okay to have this information and not do our very, very best to meet the students' needs now that we have it. This is the most detailed information that we've had. since I've started at NAP as far as where our students are and what their issues are in reading. So Ms. Cook, you asked if there are students who needed to take testlets multiple times. The answer is yes, so many. So when you look across this chart here, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me introduce, I'm going to talk to you in just a second about her plan with all of this data. But this is Flor Martinez, and she is a fabulous teacher at Napa Elementary. She's a second grade teacher, and in the past, she's taught kindergarten. And so she has a really unique way to look at beginning readers. So when she has second graders who are reading maybe on a kindergarten level, she is just highly skilled in intervening for them. And at Napa Elementary, we have a lot of our students who are behind in reading, and that accounts for some of our testlet numbers. And we were required to come up with a system to figure out where to start a student with testlets, and then also if they didn't pass a testlet, where to go after that. Because what we're doing is we're drilling down to the level that is really where their deficit is. So they might be, so if you would imagine on this chart here, there would be student names on the left. It's cut off on purpose, but we would start in Flor's class, we would start giving the testlets at the second grade level because she's a second grade teacher. But if the student didn't do well on those testlets, then we would have to go to the grade levels prior to that in order to find where that student needed the intervention. So those X's where you see, those are the areas where our students scored where they needed the intervention. So if you're looking across, let's say that you're looking across kind of there in the middle, you'll see multiple X's in different areas. So we might have a student who's really at the second grade level in encoding, but maybe in the decoding area, they have a missing piece, a chunk that they're missing. And so they have an X down there in that first grade area. So we were required to go through with phonemic awareness and encoding and decoding and find those areas. So I'm going to let Flor talk to you, but if you look across, those were some of the areas in which we had, those are the testlet names up there. And then the yellow indicates, on Flor's sheet, the yellow indicates all the different grade levels that we had to go through in order to find where the student's level is. So this would be an example from Flor's class. The names are blacked out, of course, but you will see there's a student who scored in that first grade area that they need intervention on segmenting 4 to 5 individual sounds to create one-syllable words, and that's a grade 1 testlet. But also, there are other areas in which she needs to intervene. So she has a good chunk of her kids, it's probably 6 kids who are at that kindergarten level who need to isolate initial, medial, and final sounds. So she's intervening for all of these skills that are below grade level. And this is, so this chart doesn't fit on one slide. So there's one part of it, and this is phonemic awareness. And then here is decoding. And then the next one is encoding, which is spelling. So I'm going to let Flor talk to you about when you look at all of those areas in which students need intervention, how she makes it work.
So whenever I first got those test results, I grouped them all in those previous slides showing where they were going to be grouped in. I ended up with about 20 groups that I had to give in about 30 minutes for 4 days. And that, trying to do 20 different groups wasn't going to work out very well. So I spoke with my team, and we were able to Flex, which is just sharing our students. And so then just looking at all the data that we had, let's say one of my other teammates had 4 students in one group and I only had 1 student in that specific group, then I would send my 1 student to his 4-person group. So that way he had a good group as opposed to me just having 1 student in my group. He could actually have 4 students. And so vice versa, if I had 4 students in one group and they had 1 student in their group, then they would they're sending that 1 student to my classroom so then I can provide that small group instruction. And so then this is the schedule that I have for my classroom right now. I am giving 5 different groups within 25 minutes approximately. That's taking away a few minutes for transition time for the students. But with my small groups, I'm focusing a lot with students that are really struggling with consonant, vowel, consonant. And so isolating the initial, middle, and ending sounds is something that I've been used to from my kindergarten experience. So I've been using games and interactive magnets to be able to identify the beginning, middle, and ending sounds for the students. Is there any?
Degree in logistics. Is that
I do have previous experience in that.
I mean, that's a lot.
It was, it did take a bit to figure this out, but we were able to make it happen. And
Well, how do you encourage I mean, because it sounds like the students are flowing as much as you're flowing. So how, and they're 2nd graders, so, I mean, how have you taught them to flow with that? I mean, that's not a very long period of time, so how to get them to go from one thing to the next?
I'm very thankful that we do have a really group of students that are very focused. And so as soon as my group starts with the students that come in, we immediately get going. So there's very minimal lost transition time, which is nice. And again, it's because we have such a great group of students this year. They're really focused. And so we don't really spend much, we don't have a lot of lost time with them.
And
Nice.
that's one thing about
floating around.
There's no lost time. But in order, we were required to go through all of these different levels to find out where the students were needing the intervention and what their level was. So it's not just one testlet or one really subject area, it's multiple parts of reading. So when you finish one set of testlets and you have their decoding area that they need, then you have to start again and work on their encoding need. And then you have to do, so there's a ton of layers to it. And so we got involved, the leadership team got involved because when we were administering these in the 2nd grade classroom, and they were doing, the 4 2nd grade teachers were doing their very, very best in order to find out what the student levels were. And when Flor Martinez comes to me, and she has a lot of clout in my eyes because she's just so professional and she is just fabulous at her job. When she comes to me and she says, Ms. Hager, I'm having a hard time even getting instruction in because of testlets. We knew that we had to do something. So the reason why I even had an idea of the depth and the amount of testlets they were doing is because of Flor, and she came to me and said, I can't do this. And so our leadership team, my assistant principal and our IFs, we told the 2nd grade team, stop testletting, go teach tomorrow. This was after school, go teach tomorrow. We'll figure out something. So my leadership team spent about a week straight
pulling kids from second grade, and we did this with the other grade levels too, because it's similar in every grade level. So we did about 1,700, I'm gonna do a little math for you, so watch out. But we did about 1,700 testlets, and each testlet takes about 10 minutes. And when we figured out how many hours that was, it's about 283 hours, which is about 47 days. That's a 6-hour instructional day, and that's very similar to the number of days in a quarter. So we have to do something really great like what Flora is doing, because we've spent so much time finding out this information on our kids. So it's now our job to make it work and put it to work.
Is that 283 hours in the first semester?
And I am very thankful for my principal, because I, at some point, was just feeling really awful about not being able to focus on teaching them, because we're so trying to get all these testlets completed and done. And I'm thankful that she was able to step in and help us complete those testlets, because there were just so many for our specific school that we had to get done. And we were able to return and teach, which is what our students need at the end of the day.
No, it's what she's great at, so.
This is the new from the department this year, right? Okay.
So the testlets are new, the information is good, the information's really good. But if you could back it away and really just reestablish what's necessary from pre-K even through third grade in order to get every child reading at grade level by third grade. Peel away the things that you'd like to peel away and focus on the things that are really, really necessary. Because that conversation's happening now in the legislature. And people are really thinking about, if we're going to focus on making sure that public schools have to have kids in third grade reading at grade level, or they don't get to move on, what we need to do is to have them to where they can have all that they need in order to do that. Because, from my perspective, adding additional things, you said 4 to 7 days worth of testing, that's a lot. It's a lot of not teaching. So what can you peel away? How would you create a system? What would you peel away, and what would you focus on? Would you just do literacy and math? Computation, really teaching, not teaching them how to use a calculator, but really teaching them how to think, do those things, and play a lot outside time? What would you do?
Just by looking at the information that we received from this test, there were some groups that I already knew that, they placed where I knew they were going to be placed. So I have one student that took 23 tests. And by the end of that testing, I already knew where he was going to. I was like, okay, well, that makes sense why he's there. And then I have some other students that, immediately tested out. They didn't need an IRP at all. So there are some students who I feel like I could have been giving them the small group time that they need for enrichment or to help them grow in specific areas. But there are other groups who I do love that I have very specific information on what to work with them, because like for decoding or encoding, I knew that they needed help in those areas, but not as specific as this test gave it to me. So that's what I loved about the test, was finding that middle group who I couldn't find or pinpoint as well as this tested.
So, is this what I understand? I'll say it, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. For some, you already knew. And so going through the additional test was really a waste of time for the child and for you. For some others, there was some areas that you weren't real sure, but the testlets really help you focus on what those children needed. Is that what I understand?
Yes.
And then some were just that, they're good. They can go. I mean, you knew how they were going to test, they didn't need it.
Right, they're needing enrichment. Mm-hmm.
How does it,
become a tool.
toolbox to help assess when they don't know where the gaps are, they would be an amazing thing.
So as opposed to a requirement.
But this is a requirement, and like my son, who then spent hours doing testlets that he didn't need to take,
How is it determined who needs it?
that screener that I showed you that Jonathan had, he flagged at risk, all he's honoring, my son's honoring, he asked his principal. And he probably just wasn't filling that test that day, and he flagged
So
at
does
risk.
everybody take the screeners?
In K3, yes.
Okay.
And they're required by law.
And based on that information from the screeners, that's who gets tested.
Okay, so you have to then go, and I apologize for jumping in, but
No, you're
you have to then go from here and then work your way down to figuring out. What if you already know, okay, this student, I've seen them for 3 months, I know that they're over here. Why can't they just jump to that instead of having to, why can't we, it seems like we're pretending like the teachers don't already know information and we're not giving them, that's just insane.
They're using the testlets as a level 1 dyslexia screener, which is another whole, that's another whole thing. But really, like, we have this for math too, but right now it is just a tool for teachers, for them to pull out and use. There's no requirement that they have to, based on the screener, there's no requirement that they have to give the testlets. So as teachers need that information, they can opt to pull a testlet and give it to a child. Whereas we are mandated by law that we have to go through this whole testlet process. And then when we did the testlets, they found all kinds of issues and part of it got thrown out. And so we're hoping, and they are listening. I know that the Department of Education has been in districts, they've been in buildings, they've seen what we've been saying. I know that they are listening. They've already made changes. They canceled the K2 interim assessment based on what happened with the screeners. So we don't have to do the interim. We still will be taking the summative. So I'm hoping that all this information that they're hearing, that there will be changes made for next year.
Is this also something that only public has to do?
And there's one more piece that I just want to make sure the whole picture is presented. As the students, as Ms. Martinez intervenes for a student and she knows that they can demonstrate their knowledge on a testlet, she's given a day a week during her small group time to administer more testlets, which shows that the student has progressed to that next level. So eventually, we hope to get students off of IRPs and show that they've made the progress, but we're intervening in so many different areas, it's hard to narrow that focus down. But that's what that Friday time is. Testlets aren't completely done. It's to move to the next level that child needs then. So it's kind of an ongoing process.
And it's not required by law that we administer the testlets to progress monitor, but it's the easiest way to do it because we have to progress monitor to show that they're making progress, and that has to be hand entered into the IRPs. And if the teacher just give a testlet, then that automatically populates into the IRP, so it's less work on the teacher's end, and it's already done for them.
And every teacher K3 has to do this?
Yes. And third grade has to double do it for math.
Last question, I promise. How are we teaching new teachers how to do this?
We had to teach all teachers to do this year. This is brand new for everybody this year.
But I mean, a new teacher walking out of college who's just thinking they're gonna teach how to read and write, and then all of a sudden they're spending 200 and whatever hours testing. I mean, that's big.
She's doing great. All of our teachers are doing
y'all
great.
are awesome.
So, aren't they heroes?
Say heroes, because there's no, I mean, yes, that's insane.
Well, it's super helpful. Thank you for coming, because it helped, I know it helped me a lot to understand this process, and it's new to everybody, but you guys do it every day, so thanks for.
Yes. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for answering all my crazy questions.
Typical state education.
So it's almost like we're spending more time testing than teaching.
Y'all are awesome. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Wow,
State, now you're testing, now you're really identifying the data. What did you lose because you tested a lot? We lost close to 47 days of instruction. So that's what we've been talking about. Hey, we have a treat tonight. Look who's at the podium. Everybody knows Miss D. Hobbs.
Good evening, Board and Dr. Cleveland, Leanne, administration. I'm just simply stepping in for Ms. Hopkins, who is out of town tonight, okay? And seeking approval for the December financial statements that I believe you all have. Did want to point out a couple things. The current tax collections are $7 million more than this same time last year, which is overall slightly ahead of last year. The expenditures are close to the same as last year's. Some are slightly higher, some are lower, so leveling out there. I did want to talk to you a little bit about positive pay because I know y'all had talked about that at previous meetings, and I'm heavily involved with that, and it's working out very well. Since we started, we've had a $53,000 check and a $10,000 check that was intercepted. We didn't accept the payment on it. And the bank.
Happening on a weekly basis now? They're trying to.
No, those two kind of came right together. When we first started with positive pay, First Security, I upload a file to them, as you all know, and at first it was after January 1st, then if anything was over $10,000, they would actually be checking the vendor name. At first, it was going to be the date, the check number, and the amount. But this was before January 1, and the vendor names were caught. And then they email or call, but usually email first. And I look up the information and say, no, this isn't the vendor that we paid. And they literally are just whitewashing the names off and putting in their own. On the $10,000 one, they actually had the name printed on the check. I mean, like they did it manually. There wasn't even a computer. But what was interesting about the checks were going to P.O. boxes. And so I got to looking at that, and it was in Atlanta. So dug into that. And what was happening was Atlanta was sending all of their P.O. box mail to another city to process. And at that city is where they were getting intercepted. Obviously, it's a scam. It was a lot of money. They weren't going after the small. So what our goal is we do a lot of ACH. We do a lot of EFT. We do FIS. So our goal is I reached out to these vendors and said, we would like to pay you by ACH. We're trying to get ACH information from most of our vendors so that it's just much safer and secure. And it's been working out well. And obviously, our vendors are also contacting us, and we're getting the information that way too. So everything is, trying to go electronic payroll. We have very, very few checks. I might have one that actually gets a check, and usually that's in between setting up a new direct deposit or a new hire. So payroll is not the issue at all. So it's just the fact, the vendors and trying to get more ACH going. But we do a lot, and we'll continue to do that. But
Vendors charge us more if it's done electronic?
No. Mm-mm. And I don't know, years ago, if you remember, but Kelly Hayes, we started the FIS program. It was kind of like the first electronic through ABSCAN. An FIS company came in and they actually wrote it with ABSCAN, got the approval. And so the goal wasn't, we do get a 1% rebate back from that, but the goal wasn't for the money, it was for the safety of electronic payments. So we're still doing FIS, but I'm reaching out more to vendors to go just strictly ACH so that we won't receive that small rebate, but also if they do the virtual card through FIS, there is a small fee that they have to pay, so they wouldn't have to pay anything either. But no, there is no charge or anything for the ACH.
So I got a letter from a vendor this morning, I believe, that said, if anybody reaches out on our behalf, please call us.
It's fraud. Yes, and that's one thing, we don't accept anything just electronic. We call the vendor and say, did you send this? Did you, I don't know if Mr. Jones is, yes, he is. One time, we received an email, looked just like Mr. Jones's email, sdale.org, and it was changing his account.
They're pointing
Oh,
at
that
each other.
Jones. Not true. Changing his account, and, this was about, I don't know, 5 years ago. Of course, gullible. I'm like, okay. So anyway, payday came out, and thank goodness we had a pre-note back then, but it didn't go. And so that was when I said, okay, absolutely nothing. Campus mail for direct deposits, or come by and see us. You just can't trust electronics on everything.
So those $10,000 and $53,000 checks, are those physical checks in the mail?
Yes.
Or getting
Yes.
physically
Yes.
intercepted by someone?
Yes, and then over Christmas break, I got a call from the bank. It was like January 2nd or 1st, I think it was the 2nd. And they had a $6,600 check that was a year and a half old. And I said, no, we're not honoring that. And so when I looked into it, the company had done it mobily. A lot of people do mobile banking, and then they just tried to run it through again for some reason. It wasn't fraud, it's just they made an error. But that old of a check, of course, we're not going to accept. But, yeah.
So would you prefer the ACH on even small bit, like for 5H photography, when we send you a bill, would you prefer to, instead of
Sure.
check, just electronically dump it into our account?
Yes. Would you like that?
Yeah, would we? That's what I'm asking. Do we need to contact you and give you that information? so
Yes.
that you can do that?
Yes, you can email me, and then we can set up the information, or you can stop by, whatever. But yes, it's actually great for the vendor. They get their money faster. So, yeah.
Okay, good.
I'll just add something. I'm glad you have that phone call, because there has been instances, I can specifically say, a loss of $100,000 because somebody broke into an email and verified a wire with an official invoice, and the wire was sent out, and this person lost $100,000 because they didn't call to verify.
Right.
So that is really
Yeah, that's very, very important to us, because we just can't trust email anymore. So, yeah. So we're trying anyway. And so, did you all have any questions about anything with?
I make a motion that we accept the December financials as presented.
Second.
Okay.
A motion by Mrs. Cook and a second by Mr. Ramos to approve the December financials as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank
I do
you.
have one last question on the Atlanta. Have they said, is the FBI going after, because
Oh, yes.
mail fraud, isn't it considered?
We contacted the Attorney General, and he did verify that they know there's a scam going on in Atlanta, and that it has to be, there are workers there that And so, yes, we did contact the Attorney General and that, yes. Thank you.
Great job. Filling in.
Hello, Board, Dr. Cleveland. I've got a short construction update tonight. So, Central Phase 3, we're actually ahead of schedule. So this used to be the cafeteria, which is going to be the Library Media Center. So this is actually on the east side of the building. Used to, you'd come in right into the cafeteria. Now you'll come into this multi-use room that's right off the cafeteria, so they can have breakout sessions in there. We had to demo out some of the restrooms, so this is some of the new that's going in. They're putting tiles in, painting, and everything in that area. So there's some CTE space here. There'll be an East Lab in that area. So they're really moving ahead over there at Central. Do you guys have any questions on Central?
Completion date-wise.
April.
Still April.
Yep, we're still on April for completion there. And then we'll have that one completed. So the parking lots, we are going to order new ones.
I heard Miss Clay really likes the blue.
Yeah, some people really like the blue. But we're going to match the existing lights on the new phases. Okay, so out at Har-BER High and Springdale High on the baseball and softball fields, we've got the championship walls in. So at Har-BER High baseball, the championship walls are complete. They're getting ready to put in the backstop netting. There's actually Har-BER softball. They've got that fence done. So Har-BER will finish up by the end of this month is the plan, if weather will cooperate with us.
Just to help, the championship walls are hard walls.
Yeah, that's just a brand of them. So they're a kind of like a real thick plastic wall.
Permanent. No longer have the windscreen we have to replace all the time.
Yep, we won't need any windscreen. So there's a lot of work that goes in before we put in the championship walls. So Springdale High, I didn't put a picture in there. They've got all the old fence tore down. They've got the footings in, and they're actually putting up all the galvanized posts, getting ready for the championship walls.
Regarding that, I know there were banners for sponsorship and ads and stuff. They can still do that. It's just like a vinyl sticker or something.
They'll still be able to do their sponsors and stuff on these walls. So it'll just help. You know, you don't have the maintenance of windscreens, and at Har-BER, we've had the fences actually blown down in storms because the wind.
You're talking about like the black mesh stuff?
Yep. This is at Springdale High softball field. They actually started putting up the championship wall over Christmas break. That crew worked pretty much every day of Christmas break. I mean, other than the holiday itself. Okay, so the Professional Development Center, the old after-school program building, the district has completed all of the demolition that we agreed to do. And then Southern Brothers Contractors started last Wednesday on their portion of the demolition, and they're actually they've got crews in there working right now. So they painted some of the metal. We went and tested today. So we think we're going to be able to save some money by just painting some of the finishes that's in there. So that's moving forward. Then the Springdale Schools Industrial Arts Building, which is the old lock. My crews finished most of the demolition that we had. We're just working to get it out of the building into dumpsters and hauled off. So as soon as that happens by the end of this week, then I'll have our custodial crew. They'll go in and they'll start grinding the floors and polishing that concrete before Southern Brothers sends their rebuild team in there to start putting up the new walls. That way we get a...
Take
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have some better pictures soon. But those projects are going good. And the way we phase those, they'll do the PDC building, and then those same crews will move over to the lock building and stuff through that process. And that's really all I had. You guys have any questions? Okay. All right. Thank you.
No, Nick.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, I put my little, on my Christmas tree.
Awesome.
Talked about it every time somebody would come in.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, that is true.
Good evening, school board and Dr. Cleveland. My name is Valerie Hanna, and I'm the SEA president and an educator here in Springdale.
I thought you scared me, but that's thank you.
So, thanks to the snowstorm, AEA's legislative conference became more like a legislative overview via Zoom because, there wasn't much traveling last weekend. But we were especially excited to see 3 pre-filed bills that are currently a possibility. Of course, this was pre-filed as of Saturday, and then the session started on Monday, so I don't exactly know where everything's at now, but So House Bill 1020 would repeal the EFA program and increase funding for students with disabilities and special needs. House Bill 2025, which would recreate the Teacher Fair Dismissal Act with some additional requirements. House Bill 1062, which is the Teacher and Student Protection Act. And this law would require that disruptive and violent students not be returned to class and placed in an alternative educational setting until a conference could be held. This was especially exciting since this bill is very similar to the new business item that our Ms. Callie Day had gotten passed at our representative assembly. And in the past several months, there have been some fears that have risen about upcoming policy changes in our country. And we asked, along with other educators across the state, that if AEA's legal team could give us some guidance for safety of our students when it comes to immigration questions. Because of this request, they came up with information for AEA educators, which can be accessed through our member website. And we would like to encourage the district to make sure that all of our teachers are aware of their rights and responsibilities to our students. Then, Ms. Callie Day and I would also like to thank Dr. Cleveland again for approving our participation in the National Minority and Women's Conference in Atlanta this next week. So, if Ms. Hopkins or Ms. Hobbs needs us to go covert on the whole check thing, we are going to be there. And finally, part of the the legislative overview was that there was a very long conversation about making sure that we have relationships with our school boards, with our administration. And I felt absolute pride when I was able to say in front of this whole group from all across the state that we have the privilege of speaking with you guys every month, that we have the ability to have that conversation and it's already in place. And we, got a nice shout out for it. So thank you for giving us that ability, and happy school board appreciation. And just a little appreciation, by the way, I was trying to find some bags of hugs. But I couldn't, so you got a bag of kisses, but those are platonic ones. Happy Appreciation Month.
Thank you.
Y'all just keeping up Mr. Rogers.
I'm an elementary teacher. I love a theme.
I like it.
Give me a theme, I'm gonna ride it all the way.
You really go all the way to the next point.
Awesome.
Are there other districts that do what we do as far as having you guys speak every month, or we can't be the only one? No, I'm just curious.
So, the impression I got, there are very few that they can ask to speak, but they definitely don't have, their name up on the board. And then there was several places across the state, and they didn't say who they were. It was just bouncing back and forth. But they did not have the right to speak at school board. There was some that said that if they personally were not a constituent within that area, that they were not allowed to speak. So, for example, myself, I still would kind of be a constituent because I'm an employee of Springdale Public Schools, but I live in Carroll County. So under that, I don't want to call it law, we'll call it rule. Under that rule, I would not have standing to stand in front of you and do this every month. So it really, listening to all the other places, like, well, we can't do this or we can't do that. And they were asking, they're like, I'm pretty sure they have to let you speak. And so they were going to look into it. And I'm going, hey, us, we get to do it. No questions asked. I can email my administration with no fear and know that I'm going to get a quick answer back from them. I believe it is one of the principals, it was Ms. Hensey earlier, that said that she knows that she can immediately send a message and it comes right back. And I think that is, Springdale is above and beyond. That, and a lot of times I'll tell people if they're not happy or friends from other districts, I'm like, the grass isn't always greener, and I'm sitting here going, but it's pretty green over here. So, yeah, it was disappointing to hear on a lot of different places in the state, but for us, I kind of just had to sit back and be like,
I think a lot of it is operating with a common goal of keeping kids first, but we also
yeah.
have a pretty good sense of common sense and we try to coexist with everyone.
Well, and
A lot of that.
I think ultimately, if you have that good relationship, if we're all going for the same goal, you're right. It's like, ultimately, this is all about the kids. And those kids need good teachers, but they also need good admin. They also need a school board that is here for them. So it's a community that we have in Springdale. So again, thank you.
Springdale's not that bad, right?
Okay, so at this time, we will move to executive session to discuss personnel. anything further?
No, sir.
I don't have to call back to order,
I
right?
think all you have to do is say adjourn.
Meeting adjourned. Meeting adjourned. Meeting adjourned.
Got the time? Okay.
Randy's being loud, that's nothing.
Meeting adjourned.
Okay, I'm just passing out food.
Nice, chicken Alfredo.
I just